Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of Docs Daily. It's Friday. It's F Around and Find Out Friday over here at Docs Daily. We're live Monday through Friday, 1 o'clock Eastern, Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern. I'm joined with Nick Mencken, Robert Faringo, and Griffin Murphy. How are we doing, boys? How's a Friday doing?
11 so good.
All right, we're working. I like it. Full card on the baseball slate. Craig Trapp probably won't be here today. He's probably on a bus looking for Chipotle. I don't know. But real quickly, pay some bills real quick about free 60, docsports.com/free $60 account. If you're new to Doc Sports, head over to the website. There's a tab, click on it, get you free $60 account, or you can click on the link in the description of this video. It's real easy. Get yourself free $60 account. Spread that upon every handicapper you want. Whatever you want to do, folks. You do you, Pikachu. That's what I tell people. YouTube Premium, Indian Cowboys Premium stuff. That level is $19.99. If you want the Premium Plus, that's where your value is really at. $49.99. You get a Docs X video play every day from Craig Trapp. You get 3 Doc Experts plays every day. 2, 3, 4-star stuff every day. You get that in video format. And then you also include it as the Indian Cowboy level as well. Like a $2,700 value, if I'm not mistaken. So jump in on that good stuff. Gentlemen, lots to talk about in baseball. I know there's some good soccer matches happening this weekend. Robert told me that yesterday because I don't watch soccer. I just bet what he tells me to, and I'm profitable. So Columbus Crew last week.
That's right.
Nice. Yeah, I was there. I listened. Let's talk about NBA, though, real quick. Let's just get this out of the way. Game 6, I took the approach of if OKC is either going to blow them out or Indiana's going to win straight up.
Yeah.
And so there was no points involved for me. It was money line only. And I believe Robert and I and Craig talked about this yesterday through Docs Daily. So I went ahead and pulled the trigger on the money line for the Pacers. Thank God, because baseball was an absolute debacle because I'm a degenerate and in Tigers doubleheaders. I went for the grand slam of grand salamis on that, and it didn't work out. I know, Robert, I'm sorry. I know. I see the look of disappointment.
It was so easy yesterday, though. It was so easy. We did talk about it with the NBA, and I'm glad that you played it that way, and I hope that some of the other people who are watching played it that way. That again, Griffin and Nick, you guys weren't here yesterday, but in the last 2 rounds, in the last 23 games of the NBA playoffs, how many times do you think a team has won the game but not covered the spread? Out of 23 games.
I would say 16, 17.
Okay.
I'd hit you like a 30% ratio on it.
Okay, so probably 7 or 8 times, you would say?
I would say so, yeah.
One time.
What?
One time.
Yeah, he hit us
Game
with his
4 of the Western Conference Finals. Oklahoma City beat Minnesota 128-126 as a 3-point favorite. That is the only time that the spread has come into play in over a month of NBA basketball. Wow. It's at the point now where it's I don't even know what the spread is in Game 7, and I don't care. It could be 17. I don't care what the spread is. I think Oklahoma City is going to win, so I'm going to lay the point. So that was our discussion yesterday. It was look, if you like Indiana, don't even take the points. There's what more do you need to see? If you think Indiana can cover, it's because you think they're going to win, and they did. What pissed me off about the game last night is that it was basically over halfway through the third period. They pulled everybody out. Everybody got screwed on their prop bets.
Yeah.
Right? Because none of the guys played the fourth quarter. Any totals bettors out there, you got screwed because everyone basically mailed it in. But you guys have any thoughts on Game 7?
It just looked like the Oklahoma City Thunder wanted to have a Game 7 here, go back to Oklahoma City and win it on their home court. Maybe that's what they were doing. I don't know, but it looked like it, especially early on in that game when the starters were in. So I'm thinking maybe they wanted to go back to OKC and have a Game 7 in front of their fans to, first time NBA Finals appearance here, and to get it in front of your home fans, that's something they probably want to do. So not in the Indiana Pacers fans on their home court. It's whatever, you go back home, you got your fans right there. So maybe that's something that played a factor in that game yesterday.
Playing with fire, though, right? Playing with fire, just
Have to.
Game 7, all bets are off, right? Like
Right.
somebody just gets hot. TJ McConnell gets hot and starts raining threes, or Benedict Mathurin goes off for 27 points. Like, you
Vinny Johnson from the Detroit Pistons.
Again, Lenny, we did talk about that yesterday, right? We did talk about it.
We did, because I was going to be that guy. I gave the example. I was going to take the Pacers plus the points. And Robert was like, hold on. Like, let me break this. And he came up just trivia. And I was like, oh, all right. Well, you know what? Then I'm just going to lay the money line.
Yeah, and that was the question. It was like, does Oklahoma City pull back a little bit?
I thought so. I don't know.
That one threw me for a loop.
Yeah, there you go. By the way, I want to shout out Brian. Brian's part of the boys right now. I'm telling you right now. Brian is out here. He's a realtor. He's got a show to at 1:00, but he put his earbud in and like that, listen to the call and listen to us basically while he's showing the house. You do what you got to do for the boys, Brian. We appreciate you. Hit me up on DM somewhere. I'll get you a t-shirt. I don't even know. I'll get you a Doc's t-shirt. I don't even know if we have them, but I'll get you a hat or something. I'll get you some merch. Shout out, Brian. You win comment of the day. And this is not ever going to win comment of the day. Nobody agrees with Nick. Everybody knows that.
Also, I just did look at the number 7.5 on Sunday. Kind of interesting because they have been a flat 9.5 point favorite in all of their home games in this series. Do you guys put any stock in that? Do you think that's any kind of giveaway?
How do you even opinionate this matchup right now, considering we're tied 3-3? Halliburton was basically supposed to be out in this matchup, comes out, drops 14 points. McConnell's been outstanding. I mean, how do you even go about this right now? Because yesterday my incentive was I had the over in the matchup, and that was strictly because I was looking at this game. Halliburton's potentially going to be game time decision. He's probably not going to play. If he does play, his time's going to be limited. The entire public herd's going to be drilling the under in this matchup. So I just reverse flipped it and took the over in this one. Going into game 7 now, you got to take Indiana on the money line. Just based off of Robert, your stat just now, one team is only covered. If you're looking for plus value in this matchup, I mean, yeah, OKC's the better team. Where do you go with this? This is the most confusing NBA final series I have ever seen in my entire life. I mean, we've got a split series right now going back to OKC. We know how dominant they've been at home all season long. We know what they've done throughout the entire postseason, but Indiana doesn't quit. This team does not give up. They're blowing them out yesterday in the second half. Yes, they completely took their foot off the gas. It's another one of those situations. For me, I like Indiana. Where the hell else do you go with it, Robert? It's kind of one of those phone calls, we're on the phone. It's because I said so. It's kind of one of those situations.
Yeah, really for me, I'm going, again, like I said before I even looked at the number, I'm just taking Oklahoma City. They could have made this spread anything. I said before the series, I said, after like game 1 of the Western Conference and Eastern Conference Finals, I was like, Oklahoma City's going to win the title. Like, they're the best team. They're going to win it. So I'm just kind of sticking with that. Like, when I make proclamations like that, I don't like to second guess myself. Like, sometimes as a handicapper and as a bettor, that's the worst thing you can do is start like second guessing yourself. It's like, no, just see the ball, hit the ball. So for me, I'm, like I said, I'm just going to lay the points on that. And I think it could be a blowout. I see Scott B mentioned the over 215. I like that side as well in general. However, I went back and looked at this. What series went to? There was another game 7 in the playoffs. And I went back to look. And over like the last 12 years in the NBA playoffs, game 7s have gone under at like an 82% clip. I forget exactly what the number was. Yeah, because Indian Cowboy, Arun actually has a theory on this. Game 7s, he likes to bet over, right? He's like, game 7 over, it goes against the public. The public thinks this is going to be a close game. It's a game 7. No, a lot of game 7s end up being blowouts, actually. However, I went back and did the research, at least in the NBA. Maybe it holds up in some other sports, like baseball, hockey, stuff like that. But in the NBA, game 7s have gone under. And I will have that stat for next week, or maybe even for what are the odds at 2:00. I will have that stat. But game 7s in the NBA have gone under excessively over the last 10 or 12 years.
I will say I do. You want to go, Lenny?
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I love your theory, Robert, especially considering the fact that we are in game 7 here. And this is something that we've talked about over and over again on this show, and that's creating a plan and sticking with it. And that's kind of where you need to go with this situation. When we enter the NBA Finals, everybody has their own opinion, who they think they're going to win, obviously, the series. And whoever your opinion was, that's the route you should take going into game 7. I wouldn't overthink anything. I wouldn't overlook anything. I wouldn't get all crazy and all these metrics and statistics. Ride the plan. And my plan, Lenny, you've known my plan for weeks on end. That's Indiana. So I'm riding the plan. I'm on Indiana game 7.
Like it.
I think there's a couple spots that during this series that I've said, it's OKC. I don't care what the number is. Lay the wood. Double digits, run it. And that's worked out for me. So I think game 7, I as of yesterday, when Robert put me on Indiana on the month, just bet the money line instead of taking the points, I was like, you know what? I had already made that decision that I was laying whatever number came out game 7 with OKC. It did not matter. It's at 7.5. I bet it already because I worry it changes. Does anybody worry that number moves at all? I do.
I think that they're going to get more Oklahoma City money just because of how good they've been in the playoffs at home. And the game 7 I was thinking of was the Denver Oklahoma City game 7 in the second round. And I was going to take the over. I liked the over in that game until I did the research. And what did Oklahoma City do to them? 125-93. It wasn't a game. I just have a sinking suspicion that it's going to be like that it's going to be a blowout. But to your point, Griffin, if Indiana can just find a way to hang around, if they can just keep it under double digits going into the fourth quarter, then they have proven time and time again throughout the playoffs that they will win close games. So if it does come down, if it's a 2-possession game with 5 minutes left, that Indiana ticket's gonna feel pretty damn good at that.
Yeah,
point.
right.
You don't know what to do with this team. 3 minutes left. They can't be closed. They will not be closed. This team does not take their foot off the gas. But go ahead, Lenny.
Maybe that's a live bet situation.
Bang
sure,
that
they
over.
get down double digits.
8 minutes left in the game.
I feel like that over is too easy. 215.
I like that over.
Oh,
I like that over,
215 does look
especially
low.
if you're on Oklahoma City too. I mean, look at it. What they did yesterday, all they're trying to do is go back home. I think, game 7, more money in the NBA commissioner's pocket. You get a game 7 in the NBA finals here. It's setting up. And what they're doing, they're trapping you here. I think Oklahoma City goes back home and absolutely beats down the Indiana Pacers here.
I think the Pacers or
I don't like
Thunder kind of seen it.
I don't like it.
I think the Thunder kind of saw, or the Pacers, I should say, thought they were getting their ass whooped in the first half, and they just kind of sat back and at halftime says, "All right, boys, we're just going to phone it in the second half. We got to get back, start focus on." They started at halftime probably getting ready their game plan for game 7 because they were already out of game 6 early and often.
Over the last 10 years, over the last 36 NBA game 7s, only 8 times have there been more than 215 points scored. So 28 out of 36 have had fewer than 215. So, like I said, initially I'm with you. I like the over just because game 6 was so weird. Like I liked the over going into that game as well. And then everybody just stopped playing, but that's 78% of the time. Okay. 28 out of 36 have had fewer than 215 points in game 7. So, that'll be a no play for me. I mean, I stopped betting the NBA weeks ago anyway, basically, other than the random live bet here or there, because I've been so awful this year. But I would not advise on the over just based on that historical trend. Like that seems pertinent.
That's fair. Let's switch gears here to the MLB. We got a big slate on here. Nick, we'll start with you. What do you got for us in the MLB as far as free play?
Let's look at your Detroit Tigers here, taking on the Tampa Bay Rays. Jack Flaherty's back on the mound here. He's got a record of 5-7, and he's got an ERA just over 4 here. He has 76 innings pitched, and he has 90 strikeouts. He's averaging over a strikeout here per inning. But if you remember in his last start against the Cincinnati Reds, He went 4.2 innings of work, I believe 7 hits and 7 earned runs for Flaherty. They ended up losing that game 11-1. I think this is strictly a bounce back game here for Jack Flaherty. I think he gets off to a hot start, and this offense rallies behind him here on the road in Tampa Bay. They got Shane Bays on the mound. He's 6-3. He's a very good pitcher as well. He has a little higher end of an ERA, sitting at a 4.54 here. He has 71 strikeouts, but he has 77 innings of work. So he's just under that strikeout per inning. But I just think it's time for this Detroit offense to come out and to have Jack Flaherty on a bounce back game here on the road after his last performance. Take that bullpen out of it in this game. Give me the Detroit Tigers in the first 5 innings of this one, money line at plus money value here against the Tampa Bay Rays. And they're playing good baseball too, the Tampa Bay Rays. I'm not saying they're going to win this game outright, the Detroit Tigers, but I think they get off to a hot start with Jack Flaherty. I would take him on that first 5 innings here against that Tampa Bay Rays team.
I'm going to back Rick up on this play. Take the under 8.5 runs in that matchup as well.
Rick also has a question for you, Nick. Do you have a WNBA play for sale?
I do. We have one play, 3-unit play. That is in between the Washington Mystics and who's the Mystics playing tonight?
Other team. They're playing that other team.
Atlanta Dream. Atlanta Dream. That other team.
So I can go get my seats for
there you go.
That WNBA game.
Yeah, I don't know. Them tickets are hard to come by for that game. Jack brought up a question here in the chat, and it's my concern as well. Coming off that doubleheader, going down to Tampa from Detroit. I mean, it has to. Nothing. You don't care about that?
No, not necessarily. I mean, these guys are traveling. They got done early enough, especially in Detroit there. So I wouldn't be too concerned. Their bullpen, especially in game 1, Tarek only went 5.2 innings of work. The bullpen is, I won't say worn down. They'll be all right to go, but that's why I like that first 5 innings. You don't have to worry about that bullpen. Worry about Jack Flaherty and what he did in his last appearance and what he does against the Tampa Bay Rays lineup. That's why I said first 5 innings right there.
I would absolutely not be concerned here, considering the fact that Tarek Skubal and Paul Skeens both pitched yesterday, and they both pitched in different games. That's simply a factor. The Tigers were playing look ahead. They started Tarek in game 1. They did not start him in game 2 against a much better pitcher. They blew him out game 1, and they took the loss in game 2. They were looking ahead. Their heads were already, after that first game locked up, their heads were already on Tampa Bay. That's where I see that. I would not be concerned with that doubleheader yesterday.
That sounds familiar, doesn't it, Lenny? You should have had no problem with the doubleheader yesterday. Griffin, that's exactly what I said yesterday. I was looking at it from the Pirates' perspective. I was like, because I took Detroit -1.5 yesterday. I'm like, look, they're already conceding game 1. They're like, we're not going to beat him because we're not going to throw Skeens at him. They're not even pretending that they have a chance in game 1. They're putting everything into game 2. I will say this to Jack Hashimoto, and again, thank you for taking time out of your day to join us here. I am not in disagreement with my co-host. However, I will say this was the last play I caught from the board. And Lenny, this goes back to something that we talked about yesterday. I was looking at Tampa Bay on the run line. Okay. Yep. -1.5. It's paying out at +185 right now. Yep. So if you do like Tampa Bay, if you think, okay, Detroit has had a rough couple of days, they got to travel after a doubleheader, they face Skeens. If you think they might come out flat, I don't know if I would even take Tampa Bay on the money line. I would take them on the run line. You're getting almost 2-1 value. And if they win, I think they're going to win like 6-2 or 5-1 or something like that. Flaherty's been hittable. He has been a guy that's been hittable. And Baz, you never know what you're going to get, but the good is really good with him. Yeah. So if he's on and Flaherty's off and Detroit is just kind of mailing it in today, this could be the perfect example of what we talked about yesterday, Lenny, where that plus money value on the run line is just begging.
And to be fair, I think these pitchers are the same. You could say the same thing you said about Shane Baez or Baez. You could Baz, whatever. You could say the same thing about Jack Flaherty. You could say the same thing about him. When he's good, he's good. When he's off, he's off. And so, but I agree. If you are thinking about taking Tampa, you do the run line. If you want the Tigers, you just roll with the Tigers and hold your breath.
Lenny, I need a little more confidence out of you and our Tigers here. All right, they'll be all right. They'll be all right.
The Tigers money line.
Third
It's
five.
Detroit versus everybody. It's the Tigers versus everybody.
I need your spirits a little up. It's Friday. They're gonna have a good week here against a good team, Tampa Bay in Tampa Bay. Come on.
Yeah, what Nick said. And then Scott's got a good question for us. Guys, I'm sure that you experience this, but prop betting has an extra risk when there's a blowout. Talking about that NBA game like last night, is how do you approach trying to reduce that risk when there is potential for a blowout? You can't really, if you know the blowout.
You can't underplays. Yeah. I mean, you're depleting it if you take unders, obviously, considering players can get hurt. Just like yesterday, we saw Indiana just took their foot off the gas. There's really no way around that. But at the same time, I will back the prop market at being more profitable just because there's less speculation on the factor. So there's two ways of looking at it. You can look at it and say, well, there is more risk considering players do get hurt and teams do take their foot off the gas. But you can also look at it the other way as well, as there's a bunch of there's 10 players on the court at all times. There's 9 players on the diamond, 18, whatever you guys want to call it. There's players, and there's so much less speculation opposed to we're in game 7 of the NBA Finals. You don't think that these books are all over this line and all over these totals? Well, you're wrong. They're all over it. So there's a lot of different variants of how you could look at this, Scott. I didn't necessarily answer your question, but at the same time, that's just what it is. That's my take from it.
I think you answered that pretty good, to be honest.
You did answer well, yeah, you did. You 100% answered the question, and that's the right answer. Frankly, is that you can't. That's why it's betting. That's why it's gambling, right? Because like I had Aaron Nesmith over for his PAR yesterday. My thinking was I do feel like Indiana is going to come to play, whether Halliburton plays or not. Some other guys I think are going to step up. He's going to be limited, so I think some other guys are going to step up around him. If you had told me going into yesterday. Didn't tell me the final score, just told me Indiana is going to blow out Oklahoma City, I would have bet twice as much on Aaron Nesmith to go over, right? Because if they win by blowout, he's one of their best players, so that means he probably has a pretty good game. It didn't work out that way. That's why it's gambling. You're never going to minimize that risk. You just make your plays, and then the game is going to go the way that the game goes. But as long as your research is strong and your philosophy is strong and the reasons why you're betting certain things, as long as that foundation is there, you're going to win more than you're going to lose. But there's just no way to, you can't predict blowouts. If we could have predicted a blowout, we all would have, hammered the money line on Indiana last night.
So yeah, exactly. Game of the year, game of the century, game of the millennial, Indiana money line. I think that answers that question pretty good. I'll be honest with you. There's no way to, obviously, there's no crystal balls here. We're about risk management, value, and then we're playing the long game. So, you're trying to win more than you lose. Robert, free play in the MLB.
Okay, first I want to go back to Jack here. He's asking if the wind is blowing in or out. It is out. The wind is blowing out, 10 to 15 miles an hour, blowing straight out in Wrigley this afternoon. Also, if you just Google MLB weather, usually the top search is Roto Grinders. Meteorologist Kevin Roth every day gives a really good detailed analysis of the weather in all baseball parks. It's a daily visit for me, and that's gonna segue right into my free play. Is I like the over in that Arizona Colorado, and this one's just for you, Lenny, because it's a double-digit total. Okay, we took the push last night, but it is 90 degrees. It is 90 degrees today in Denver, and the wind is blowing straight out. Okay, this is softball.
I might be able to hit one.
This one has got softball game written all over it. Plus, Colorado, I like Arizona in this game as well. Zach Gallen has been a mess. You guys saw him live, and we talked about him a couple weeks ago. At some point, he's got to be a little better, right? But today might not be that day. Like when you're a struggling pitcher with an ERA approaching 6, going to Coors Field on a day like this is not what you want to be seeing. Austin Gomber is on the mound. Colorado also, they just played 5 straight games against Washington, another team that played a recent doubleheader. They had to travel last night, so God knows where their heads are going to be at, and their bullpen is depleted. I think that this one could get out of hand. I like Arizona to win this game like 11-6, something like that.
Ooh. Wow. What's Arizona's team total?
right
Whatever,
now.
yeah.
Probably 4.5.
I'm going 6.5.
I like the over at
6.5.
12. Circa's got it at 11.5. If you can get that for the game. But again, I'm playing the weather and two struggling pitchers, and it's Coors Field where they don't need an excuse to score runs.
I like it. I just saw that 11.5. Sorry, I just got some stuff going on, folks.
That's all right, man.
That's
Get
what
those
Robert
bets
tells
down.
me to, like an adult.
Hey, Nick, by the way, your boy Jacob Misiorowski is making that second start today. I took Minnesota with you in mind, thinking about what we talked about last week. Of course, he went out, allows no hits through 5 innings, and it's just like
You look good. I know. I was completely on the other side of it too.
Right.
103. He didn't let up the hit.
Superhero in that first start, but now he's on the road.
Yeah, you said it.
Now he's making that second start, facing a pretty good Minnesota team. Another one of those games where I took the run line, because if this kid implodes, I can see Minnesota, winning by.
Robert, listen, I followed the philosophy yesterday. This kid was supposed to start in Wrigley yesterday against the Cubs. Last hour of the game, Freddie Peralta gets the start. I had a 7-unit on these bastards yesterday. So yeah, so I was following it too. I was on it. I still love that Twins play though. I'll jump into my free play.
Yeah.
So I actually just posted this one on YouTube, and it's actually intertwining. The line is changing and the total changed as we are going right now. And the New York Yankees were currently, this thing opened up, I want to say, at minus 260 on the money line, and the total was sitting at 9.5. Well, now the Yankees are minus 300 and the total sitting at 8.5, which is very interesting because we have a very strong pitching matchup. Sugano gets to start for Baltimore. He's got a 5-4 record with a strong 3.38 ERA, 80 innings of work, a strong 1.14 whip, a very strong strikeout to walk diversification with 46 Ks and just 14 walks. Then you've got Max Fried on the bump. Fried's got a 9-2 record on the season, and it's a sensational 1.90 ERA, 56.2 innings of work, phenomenal 0.94 whip, 52 strikeouts and 13 walks. I mean, both of these guys absolutely shove it right now. But we have the Yankees 21-16 at home this season, coming off a win. Baltimore 16-23 on the road. They're 6-4 in their last 10 games. But looking at this game right now, just by the way, that total is leaning one way, and that juiced line is getting even juicier. That tells me even more that coincides with my free play earlier. This is going to be a one-sided game. I free played the over 9.5 runs as well as taking the Yankees on the run line. Take the over 8.5 runs in this matchup and stick to that Yankees run line play. This is only going with it even more and more confluencing better. So you guys have it. That's a same game parlay, over and Yankees on the run line.
I like it. By the way, I want to mention Scott here. Love listening to you guys. Not only experts, but you are insane. That's the best compliment we've gotten all year. I'm telling you right now. And Mencken, I'm riding you for a week on MLB, so I'll let him down. No pressure. No pressure.
I got you, Scott.
Got you.
By the way, Griffin, the reason, because I noticed that I actually took the under in that game because of what you mentioned. Both pitchers have been dealing. They both been really good. And I don't know if you guys remember, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, Baltimore and Washington. If they're facing a left-handed pitcher, they can't hit lefties, man. They're both hitting like 200 as a team. So I think Fried is going to have a day today. The reason that total started so high is, again, wind is blowing out. Wind is blowing straight out in Yankee Stadium today. Winds out to center at 12 miles an hour. So that's why that number, despite two good pitchers, that's why that number is so high. There was supposed to be some rain. It looks like they're going to be able to get that game in. So yeah, Fried should dominate this game.
Agreed. Hey, I wanted to ask you, Robert, I heard you and Lenny talking about a total. Were you guys talking about the Yankees-Angels total?
Which one?
Yesterday.
No. What was it? It was Houston and Oakland. Because again, the wind was blowing out in that ballpark yesterday, and that total was like 10 and a half around there. And he's like, I don't like double-digit totals. Look, dude, when it's warm and the wind is blowing out 15 miles an hour in that tiny-ass minor league ballpark that they play in, and both teams hit lefties really well. Just roll the bones, man. And of course, it landed right on the number. 19 combined hits, 27 combined base runners, and they couldn't get over. But
I almost took the 10.5 and because I preach about shopping your lines and whatever value, this, that, or whatever. I almost took 10.5 because I could get a small plus number in front of it instead of the 9.5 or instead of the 10. And I'm like, well, Robert said it's just going to fly over. So why I'm take 10.5, Leonard? Don't be a wussy, Then now I took the 10. I'm like, no, be smart.
Good, smart.
Thank God I took the 10. But yeah, This Scott also says, did Shy act like he didn't give a care? Didn't care at his post game.
They all care.
I didn't see
They
none of
all
it.
care whether they show it or
telling
not.
you, they wanted that game 7 in OKC.
Yeah, Nick's on the script. Nick Rick got a hold of the
Where's
script.
the money? Follow the money.
Follow the money. This has been a series, though. You could totally have just zigzagged back and forth, and I mean, hindsight's 2020, obviously, but it's just
again. Shout out to Shiva. That's exactly what he's done. Aruna's 6-0 plus 3,000 in the finals, and that's all he's done is go opposite every game. Sometimes it's that easy, right? But there are some handicappers that thrive when there's only one game on the board like this, where I'm just the opposite. I want 40 games on the board, and I just want to snipe that one weak spot. When there's one game on the board, I'm just like, what are we doing here? Like, we're just kind of guessing who's going to show up and who's going to play and how it's going to go. But, I should have just stuck to Nick's conspiracy theory.
It's 100% accurate, first of all. Cole Keith Homer was sick, I believe it. I don't know. I didn't watch the second game.
Is that the Athletics, Scott? Cole Keith, I thought I saw that.
No, he's a Tiger.
Yeah. He's a Tiger.
On the Houston.
Who am I thinking of? That rookie just popped another bomb yesterday.
I know. The
lefty.
lefty.
The Athletics.
Yeah,
he's lefty. He's a lefty. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
All I did was watch soccer yesterday, which, by the way, public service announcement. I'm going to have another 7-unit play on Sunday that I love. This might be my favorite play of the summer. I've won all 4 of my 7-unit plays since I'm just doing like a limited summer soccer release, just jumping in for like 6 weeks for the Gold Cup and the FIFA World Cup. Won 5 out of 6 days, up plus 3,600 something like that. And this might be my favorite play yet. My last 7-unit play was on Juventus. They won 5-0. Like this is going to be another bloodbath. So
nice. All right, we love it. Nick, what do you got going on this weekend?
We got a big 7-unit prop coming up tonight. That game actually starts at 10:10 Eastern Standard Time. So we are looking to go 5 in a row on the prop 7-unit plays. Over my last 11 plays, I'm 8-3, up over $2,600. Had a bad day on the baseball diamond yesterday. We will bounce back here, Scott, today. Feel real confident. Got 2 plays, same game side and total in one of those games, but that's all we got rolling. We got UFC tomorrow as well.
Griffin, what do you got going on this weekend before we bounce out of here?
Big weekend for me. UFC, as always, have a huge UFC card. 5 in one of my last 6 MLB selections. I do have a 5-unit MLB. That is my highest unit play for today. That goes off at the later game, which is at 9:38 p.m. Eastern time. So as far as that, I have a 3-pack in MLB for today. Then I have UFC rolling out this weekend. And then soccer's been on fire. I want to say 9 of 12 winning days. I did drop a 6-unit last night. Not happy about it. Lost that game outright. Just didn't go my way. But we followed that play up with a CFL 7-unit winner with Montreal. CFL has been absolutely sensational. 6-1 on the season for up almost $3,000 in profit.
Nice.
Rolling right now. So CFL all weekend, MLB all weekend, UFC, props, you name it. We got the menu open, boys, as always.
Griffin, who'd you have yesterday? Who'd you have yesterday in soccer?
PSG. Not happy about it. Got beat outright.
Dude, I mean, yesterday, that was the theme of yesterday. I don't know if you watched the Inter Miami game in the afternoon against Porto. I had the over in that at 2.5 and at 3. There should have been 5 goals in the first half in that game. It was ridiculous. Then Saudi Arabia hung around with USA, but I had Saudi Arabia plus half a goal, draw, them to win. USA dominated possession, but they just snuck in that one goal in what I thought was a pretty even game. The Haiti Trinidad Tobago, like Haiti takes a red card early in the second half, screws that right away. Like, I don't know. Yesterday was kind of a mess.
Dude, I had PSG on the run line. I had a -1.5 too. Lost straight up. Didn't even got shut out. It was just a weird day across the board.
But like we always talk about, I almost feel better about losses like that, right? Like then you can just look at it and be like, you know what, I was wrong. Thought this was going to happen.
It's all good.
Versus that total in that Porto Miami game where like I 100% nailed how that game was going to be played, that it was going to be open, that they both, scored 0 goals in their first match, that it was going to be a more up and down game. It was. There should have been 6 goals Instead, I took a push on the 3. Like, it's still pissing me off today, right? Like, where was that PSG? It's just
We
like,
can't tell it all. We can't tell it all.
Miss that one. So, you know.
That's fair.
Well,
we appreciate it, boys. We're going to bounce on out of here. We appreciate everybody stopping by Monday through Friday, Doc's Daily, 1 o'clock Eastern. Me and Griffin will be here Saturday, tomorrow, 8 a.m. if you're on the Pacific time, 11 a.m. Eastern time. That's when we'll be here. Good luck unless you're against us. We'll see you guys on the next one. Check out What Are the Odds with Robert in about 20 minutes.
25 minutes.
Yep. Good luck, guys.